Censorship, I don't know. I don't want to get into an argument about censorship. People are just so fucking paranoid about that. Moderation, all that. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a certain level of it, right? I mean, it's just, it's too much, man. It's about perspective period. Yeah, I don't want to, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Bellular.
What? Let me check his Twitter before. Oh yeah, he hasn't tweeted anything. All right, what's this here?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Warcraft video. So, another patch has dropped, and as always that means there are a number of surprise changes. Either ones found in the patch notes that we did not expect, or undocumented ones which appeared out of the blue on patch day. This time there actually has been a rather massive change to what in many ways has been the core of Battle for Azeroth, so...
Oh no. Alright, let's go. Let's look at the video.
We'll start with that, the artifact power situation. And first off, artifact knowledge. So, upon logging in, players found that the AP requirements were surprisingly low, based off what we had expected from the PTR. And as it turns out, Blizzard have advanced artifact knowledge by an additional 4 weeks on live servers.
Wait, what?
That's something that will massively cut down on the amount of AP farming
what
needed
the fuck?
to keep
wow.
up. As Wowhead points out, you
We're
now
only need
158k artifact power to unlock your first minor slot, down from 453k on the PTR. That's a hell of a lot less artifact power, and that's something that will be an absolute godsend to the top-end players, though not quite the bleeding-edge players. I'm still pretty sure that Method & Co. will be going as hard as they can to get just a little bit further ahead, even if that only means getting another 3% stamina node on the heart.
That's about
right.
right.
It still is worth noting that the knock-on effects that this will have on the rest of the patch really...
Green Giant, thanks for the 5 subs, man. I appreciate that, dude.
This is a bit of a sign that Blizzard are copying onto things, especially when you take into account these following changes. So, Blizzard have massively increased artifact power rewards for many types of content in the game. So, Siege of Borealis, Temple of Sethralis, Motherlode, Tuldagore, and Waycrest Manor have had their AP reward be increased by 30%, while...
Well, that's great, because these things take fucking forever. You know the funny thing about this? Is that literally this was the exact same problem that happened back in Legion with Maw of Souls and Archway awarding the same AP, and everybody wanted to do Maw of Souls. So Blizzard is literally doing the exact same thing wrong that they did in Legion, and now they're fixing it like 6 months after the fact. It's like, why wouldn't you... I mean, come on.
King's Rest and Shrine of Storms have been increased by 60%. That's not all, though, as the Mythic plus 10 bonuses have been changed. So your End of Run chest from Ataldazar, Freehold, and Underrot is now a base of 280 AP, down from 290, while Siege, Temple, Motherlode, Tuldegore, and Waycrest will give you 360, up from 290, and King's Rest and Shrine of Storms will give you 440. And what's actually better is that for every level above 10 in the Keystone, you get an extra 30 AP, up from 10, which does make them a fair bit more lucrative. That's not all, though. The weekly Mythic Keystone chest box now gives you a baseline 3,800 AP, and then a bonus of 75 per level, up from 50. So what does this mean overall? Well, dungeons are still not an incredible amount of AP if you continue.
They're a waste of time.
But they certainly are looking
they're a waste of time.
And it is the case that if you do your weekly Mythic plus 10 push, that's pretty darn lucrative. For an example, a plus 12 King's Rest, that's like 440 plus 60, so 500 from the chest. Then a plus 12 on your weekly will give you 3,800 for the chest baseline, plus another 900, so that's 4,700 from the chest, plus 500-ish from the run. That's pretty strong for doing one dungeon if you're, up to par in that.
5,000? Oh, actually, yeah, that's a pretty good amount.
Because killing a raid boss is now far more lucrative. You'll get 900 from defeating a current tier raid boss, up from 450.
Oh, this is actually good. Like, straight up, this is actually a good change. Thank fucking God they're making raid bosses lucrative for AP. Like, Little Ant, thank you much for the 5 Get the Community subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, this is what they've needed to do for the longest time. And I don't know why this has taken them so long. This is, again, the same problem. They're literally repeating the exact same mistakes that they made in Legion again. They did this in Legion too.
They have then also changed old tier raid bosses to award 450. Now, I doubt that will become a common way to farm AP, but it certainly is nice to see that older content continue to still, have relevance, I suppose. That's something I always do like to see. Now, moving on to islands, we've also seen a lot there. Heroics now give you 300, up from 225, while Mythics and PvP are now 450, up from 350, with the weekly then being 3,500.
Mythics should be 1,000. Or sorry, PvP should be 1,000. Like, that would actually get people to do PvP islands. Like, the thing is that, like, nobody is going to intentionally, like, if you do a Mythic Island, like, here's the thing, is that doing a Mythic Island, the chance of winning is basically guaranteed. Like, if you lose an island, like, I mean, how bad do you have to be at the game to actually lose an island? I don't even know. But if you actually have the PvP, there is a lose scenario. And because there's a lose scenario, a lot of people aren't going to do it. So if the rewards are the same, it's not going to be worth it. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the bits, man. Thank you very much, Winternight. Thank you. For the Alliance, you're goddamn right. Okay.
Up from 2,500. So combine that with the treasure quest being still very powerful, and the islands are now even stronger in terms of getting AP. Plus, of course, they also doubled the AP that you get from emissaries. And then on the topic of doubling, well, AP from PvP has been doubled. Yes, doubled. Your first win of the day is 100% more, and then 2v2 wins are a baseline of 240 each, while 3v3s are 300 each.
Wow.
Unrated BGs are 300, epic BGs are 600, and rated BGs are 1,050, with against overwhelming odds being 2,000, up from 1,000. PvP really didn't give you enough AP, in my view, in the past.
Yeah, it didn't at all.
So this change, I think, does go a long way to
improving
that situation. So what does this overall mean? Well,
it's actually a good thing.
First, I think it's a tacit admission that artifact power is just going to be serving a smaller role in this patch. I guess it feels a little bit like AP did in 7.3, where you kind of had to put a little bit of effort in to like meet the minimum requirement of the system.
Well, you only did that for the Netherlight Crucible. After that, nobody gave a fuck. Fuck you. Okay, all right.
An awful lot of time. Design-wise, it looks to me as if Blizzard were not particularly happy with players having to seek out AP from sources like other than what they wanted to do in the game. I think having AP be the primary motivator for doing something like a world quest or an island, well, I think that was an abject failure so far in PvP.
Yes, it was.
I think it drove a lot of negative sentiment. Blizzard seem to understand that now. I think there's a fine line between a task and a chore. Players are much happier when they're working towards goals that they've set for themselves instead.
I don't like AP. I don't like the way that artifact knowledge works. I don't think they should have artifact knowledge. Artifact knowledge creates this thing where all of the work that you put in is ultimately futile because you know that in just a couple of weeks, you would have been able to do the same thing that you're trying to do now, like twice as fast. and it just creates this like weird thing where it's like, why am I even doing anything? I really don't like the way that works.
Out of arbitrary ones, and you know, especially ones that kind of have them push towards content that they want no part of. And with this patch, I think
Catch-up mechanics all over again? Yeah, I know.
Reflected in the design, which is a good thing. What works out much better for players is if they just earn AP for the existing things that they're doing, so the correct move is what we see here, to bolster the rewards for content that people are already doing, instead of sort of pigeonholing them into a smaller amount of content. So overall, great changes from Blizz. I really like what they've done, and let's keep on moving, because we've got Transmog to talk about. This was an important one for many. All right, here we go. Legs can now be hidden. There are actually already some posts on Reddit of people making really good use of this. I saw a particular one which was a transmog of the vanilla cover arts Demon Hunter, which is like the topless elf, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, sure,
really,
that's cool.
It's a significant relaxation on what they've had before, and I think it's a good step that they're moving to allow more player freedom there, even though...
Wait, players can make all slots hidden except legs. Let's keep it classy. Wow. I thought it was just your chest piece. I didn't know it was everything. Holy shit.
May result in a few rather unseemly mogs potentially harming the overall flavor of the world. Their harder stances do seem to be, well, eroded by player feedback. Perhaps Blizzard have realized that they kind of get it wrong sometimes. And I think with these mog rules, we're really seeing things that are pretty good. Relaxing their restrictions has also resulted in Cookie's Tenderizer, Dire Brew's Shanker, and Nat Peggle's Hat being transmoggable as well, which is certainly good. Now, moving on, there are some more interesting miscellaneous things, like support for 21:9 loading screens, which, as a 21:9 monitor user, I'm pretty happy about. And then your friends list actually taking your BNet favorites into account. There is one thing that I'm kind of surprised that seems to have just flown under the radar, and that is that there's a new altitude system for audio. So when you fly above the ground, ambient sound will now change to accommodate your new height. So that's pretty cool. It just used to not care about altitude whatsoever in the past, so a pretty nice change.
Yeah, I guess that's cool.
This patch really just seems to have been like, hey, sorry, there's a bunch of stuff we should have done a long time ago, let's do it. So further to that, Hellfire Assault, the first boss of Hellfire Citadel, has been made a bit more reasonable to solo, with the damage that the NPCs do to the cannons being dropped, and the number of munitions needed to pass the encounter going down to 5. In addition to that, and wow, they really needed to do this, passives have been added back to the spellbook. I'm sure that most players, especially returning players and people using boosts, were spending a good amount of time wondering why some of their buttons just randomly started glowing, or why cooldowns were just reduced or reset sometimes. In truth, there are some specs that are kind of complex and arcane in a way, just, you know, not intuitive, right? When you don't have those passive tooltips being there to explain. And this was down to Blizz's attempt to simplify the appearance of the game by baking passives into abilities and then hiding some, but this ended up leading to just information just not being clear and present. So
as usual,
now it's all visible in your spellbook, and that is so much better, so much more readable. You know, if someone's character randomly starts glowing, you can actually just look in your spellbook and find out why. Now, in addition to the rather long patch notes, there were a number of changes in this patch that went undocumented. So a massive thank you to the r/WoW community.
I prefer to call them illegal changes.
Collating and sharing these. So first of all, the reported 415 weapon from Nazjatar is not 415 in live, it's actually 370. So it's no longer a free bit of almost raid gear, but it still is helpful for anyone who's not played in a while.
415 was too high, 370 was too low. They should just make it 400. That's what would make sense to me. Why three? Who uses 370s?
Changes, including a nice update to fire particles, a fix to the High Mountain Tauren's face mask for females, a long-awaited fix to the clipping Nightborn Heritage belt. Really took them a while on that one, didn't it? And then some new dances. So specifically, the Xandalari Trolls have dances for Moonkin and Travel Form, and the Shaman Ghost Raptor uses the Xandalari Travel Form dance now as well. Then Moonkins, who use the Glyph of the Stars, are treated to a new, more fitting sound effect when they shapeshift. Mages have also had their refreshment table be updated to be a little bit more fitting for 2019. So let's move on to some more quality of life changes. We have some long needed things like subtitles scaling with screen resolution, which is pretty good.
That's good, yeah, sure. That's great.
We've got some upgrades as well. The loot limit has been raised.
Now, wait, what?
Not too many people would normally run into this issue, but when group looting was introduced, it was limited to 25 NPCs at a time. Well, as of this patch, that's now up to 50. And I'm pretty darn sure that the hardcore farmers who are going there clearing
Oh,
dungeons and raids,
AoE looting.
you know, for like say raw gold farming, I'm sure they'll be pretty happy to hear about that.
That's great.
Then of course there is the Caverns of Time portal being added to the new portal room.
2 less clicks.
Farming old content is a bit less time consuming now. There was also a change to the Island Expedition items, so the Seafarer's doubloon consumables that gave buffs have been rotated to a new batch. The ones that have been removed from sale have actually been added back into the islands themselves, where they can be picked up and used. We do then have a change that reduces quality of life,
thanks
but
for tier 2 sub, man.
was probably a bit of an unintended game mechanic, so it's kind of reasonable, and that is that the Underlight Angler's move speed bonus now no longer remains active in combat, and you know what, I think that one's actually kind of fair. There are also some performance improvements that have been reported, which I've seen. That sometimes is par for the course with patches, although this time it seems to have been fairly major for certain configs. I've seen reports of up to 20 FPS higher in ultra settings. But on that, not all of the changes are better, though, because it seems like we're missing the lighting quality option. There's now just one default thing that's on forever, which is going to suck for people who want precise control over their visual settings, or for people on configs where the sort of higher lighting settings were pretty punishing. Then, in addition, we've also lost the ability to overwrite and replace sound files manually in the game files. Of course, as a hunter back in the day, that's something we would do. We'd use a silenced shot for, you know, the weapons which were
I don't even remember that, dude. I didn't even know you could do that. I had no idea.
And it's one that is being looked at by Blizz, so there could be a fix there. And then there's one really peculiar change that, well, was pretty odd. So the close all windows API function is now locked during combat and can't be used. I'm not sure how many people have used that. I'm pretty sure it's
nobody gives a shit about that.
I can't really think why it would
I guess it's good, but still.
Like that, so that's a little bit bizarre and I suppose inconvenient for some add-on authors. So there you go. Overall, this patch is promising for a variety of reasons. A lot of little things are finally being fixed, and a bunch of the systematic changes are pushing the game in a better direction. It's not like the game is significantly better, but if we look at the logic and the decision-making involved in some of these changes, we can definitely see that the live team is learning from their mistakes and moving in a more favorable direction. So
are they kind of learning from their mistakes? Yes, but they're learning from their mistakes too slow. Like, that's the problem, is like, yes, they are improving. This is the same thing that happened with Legion, is that Legion was really good at the end and it was really kind of shitty at the beginning. It takes too long for them to make changes.
Hopefully that's something that continues into the future.
I sure hope 8.3 saves BFA.
It's time to enjoy the patch. So I'd like to know, is there anything that you would like to see fixed in the game? Are there any small issues that you think Blizzard ought to be aware of? Do, you know, leave them down in the comments. The more visible they are, the more that, you know, they could appear in maybe the next version of this guide for patch 7.2.5 or 8.2.5. But anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching, and with that, I'll see you next time.
All right, let's go down here. Let's look at this. Can we have an expansion that's fun from the beginning? That's the problem. Here before Asmongold reacts with his stream. Okay, dude. Okay, all right, yep. And this is the most popular comment, too. Like, that's the best part. Like, I'm sorry, it's guaranteed, like, death and ball. Okay, all right, just a second. Let me scroll the way. Yeah. Did Blizzard actually make the tweet? Let me see here, okay? They said that Blizzard made the tweet about the new store mount. You see what I was saying?
Yep, they're ready. They're chomping. Oh.
You see, this is exactly what I was saying.
Wait, do you notice something?
I do.
It's like clockwork.
Every fucking time, dude.
Oh my god. Remember the shit you got for that, dude?
Oh god, dude. It's just, what do you even say, man? Okay.
You can't say anything.
Yeah, you can't say anything. It's so pretty. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna retweet this. Another pathetic and embarrassing way to squander the goodwill you earned with the patch. Okay, let's see. What's the rest of this? What?
Did you tweet it?
I'm about to.
No. Goodwill is one word.
That's a store.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, where's the rest of these? Okay, let's see, what else should I say? When you pay for an expansion and for a sub fee, I think you should expect to have all the content in the game not paywalled. Okay, what else should I say?
Just say fuck you.
Fuck you.
And all caps, fuck you. Bitch.
Store mounts are a cancer. The game and store mounts are a cancer to the game. 2 days before Q2 ends, by the way. Let's see, what can I get rid of? Before you have a sub fee, you shouldn't have to pay for items. Okay, just a second. How about this? How about, what do you guys think, guys? Get rid of the cancer? That's too far? What's wrong with cancer?
Well, there's a lot wrong with cancer, but it's not too far. You need a period after game and a period after by the way.
Not after by the way.
Yes.
No.
You need periods.
Don't use periods.
Wait. Which is more impactful? AIDS or cancer? Are they AIDS to the game?
No, AIDS is just basically like cancer. Like what is I think cancer, like the definition of cancer is something that spreads and infects more things as it progresses, right? So first we had store mounts, and now we had store pets, and then we had store helmet transmogs, and we have a bunch of other transmogs and things like that. Yeah, I feel like cancer is it's a very good way of saying it, right? A blight on the game. Why are people, like, I'm very confused why people are saying not to use the word cancer.
What's going on? You guys getting infected by the SJW culture that's censoring everybody? Huh?
Well, what is that? Like, is that is this now like an SJW word? Is this the new retarded? They're too sensitive. Because they won't, yeah, I don't know. Is the C word? No, that's cunt. It's not cancer. Cancer is not the C word, it's a normal word. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna tweet it. Another pathetic and embarrassing way to squander the goodwill you earned with the patch. When you pay for an expansion and for a sub fee, you shouldn't have to pay for items too. Store mounts are a cancer to the game 2 days before Q2 ends, by the way. Done. What a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Dude, what if they block you? What are you gonna do?
I'll just open their Twitter up on incognito mode. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Let me see over here. So are there people tweeting about this? Let me go ahead and double check and see what they're saying.